So we've got deployment happening from both sides.
Righty, so Alexa with his Corsairs, we have Dalamir with 6 Corsairs and shield, 5 Corsairs with spear and shield, 4 crossbows. Black Numenorian Marshal with lance and horse, 6 crossbows, 1 Black Numenorian with Warhorn. I'm a big fan of having Warhorns in much every list that you
Oh
can.
yes, definitely. Well, my
2
end too.
Corsairs with shields, a Hasharan with 4 Corsairs and shield, 4 Corsairs with spear and shield and 2 crossbows. A Bosun with spear and shield with 10 Reavers and 2 Corsairs with spear and shield. So very briefly, it's 4 heroes, 12, 14 crossbows. Only two of them with shield. 12 crossbows, sorry. 10 shields, and spears to match as well. Now, he's up against Ugluks scouts from Vaughn, running something like 45 models.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of turbo.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Urukai to get through. So we've got, of course, Ugluk with 1 Marauder with a banner and shield, understand it. 2 Marauders with a bow, and then 9 with shields. Her with banner and shield. 2 banners. List that is correct. An extra Uruk Marauder. 4 Marauders with bows and 5 with shields. Scout Captain with 9 Marauders with bow. Grishnak with 2 orcs and with shield and 3 with two-handed. Snaga with 2 orcs and 2 two-handed, and an orc captain with shield with 2 orcs and 2 orcs with shield, two-hander. So very interesting split there. Lots of I think it's about 12
Orcs. Yeah, about
13 orcs, not including the heroes, so 16 orcs all up.
Yeah, towards the lower end.
Yeah, about a third of his army is orcs, but you know.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah, I actually think that is all you need. You know, I think you'd be surprised. You don't need that 1-to-1 ratio because Urukai on their own are pretty choppy. The name of the army is speed. Vaughn has play tested this pretty extensively as well, so most certainly has had the opportunity to find where that magic is for him. Both Alexa and Vaughn are from the Chatswood Lord of the Rings group, so they do have the opportunity to play each other. In fact, Alexa was very happy to have the opportunity of a rematch against Vaughn.
Yep.
Vaughn is without comment on that. So it should be interesting because it's both very high model count, high damage armies, but both armies low defense.
Yeah. And what's really great to see is both, I would say, have kind of joined the scene fairly recently, and they're playing at a really high level already. So it's really cool to see essentially what I saw, a year or so ago, 2 newbies, now piloting their own little armies with great finesse and great skill.
Yeah, and I believe both of them won their games last round as well. So already pushing top tables here.
Yeah. All right, we've got the deployment happening. It looks like they've gone for a top-heavy deployment on that side. Vaughn's matching the deployment on that top side table, against Alexa's Corsairs there. For obvious reasons, Alexa's gone for the placing of the crossbows onto the buildings, giving him nice vantage points. So yeah. The strength 4 crossbow is going to be very handy against some of the defensive scouts that do exist in Vaughn's army. All right, we are dropping more frames, guys. Okay. We've also got a counter deploy towards the bottom end of the table. Very big warband, so we'll have to see what he does with that, what kind of plans he has for that area there. All right, social.
The COVID handshake, as is tradition here in Australia, rolling for priority.
Yep.
Black dice being Vaughn. Alexa using the fluoro green and white with Vaughn using the
Mhm.
Isengard dice as right.
Mhm. Ah, yes. Now, one interesting thing that I want to bring out here is Vaughn's tape measure is unnaturally thick.
Call it girthy.
Yes, definitely. Look, it's something I made fun of Vaughn constantly, but I think he appreciates as well. He really likes those chunky tape measures. All right, he's moving across that table here. This dwarf statue, sorry. Um, looking for those in the ways. Um, interestingly, Alexa has opted for the dominate the battlefield secondary for lots of board control, but I think he's going to struggle with this amount of Uruk high scouts on the board as well.
I don't think it's testable secondary. Have models in each quarter.
Mm. Well, true. He's got to have to spread out, but he's with Vaughn, he's got the models to kind of chase them down as well.
Yeah, he's got this.
Hmm.
One of the things to note is you don't want to be that one. So
Correct.
only need to spread out.
All right, it is really warming up here out in
Getting
Ketai.
very hot.
It's very warm. We've also got in the room, we've got another game going with Luke versus John, Goblin Town versus Iron Hills. It's going to be a very bloody game as well. We'll
Look,
be,
my money is on Luke because dwarves are the best.
no, my money's on Goblins because I love the Spider Queen.
Nah, dwarves number one.
Nah,
Sorry, Chief.
disagree.
Nah. Well, we can just
All
agree to
right,
disagree.
all right, turn the stream off. It's over.
Everybody go home, pack it in. Yeah. The worst part is I got a lift here with Eric, and he's just like, "You're
Yeah,
walking."
yeah,
Oh.
you're just walking home, mate.
Oh.
They're saying you're breaking up a little bit. I think the connections might have been a little bit weird.
We just want to touch the game, gain up a touch.
Yep, all right, let's do that. All right, thanks for that, Death 1942.
Yeah, I think I was just
Some live tech support again.
fat hand and just smashed my connector.
Fat dwarf hand.
Yeah. You know why it's a fat dwarf hand? Better to backhand you with.
All right, the first
One
couple of movements.
up. I wouldn't call that an aggressive move there on the north.
No, well, no marches have been called yet, so I don't think both armies are in a rush to get into combat. You know, they both do have that significant shooting component, so they do want to leverage that. What's interesting is this big sweep from the bottom part of the board from Vaughn, and he's probably going to dive for that, you know, less defended board edge.
Yeah, that looks like a good 12 or so
Hmm.
coming around the south end of the table there.
Hmm.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Have you ever seen the
Oh
even
yes.
read about the buffalo horns where
Hmm.
they march around and swing on either side?
Hmm.
Um, interesting. So Alexa's shooting. He does have crossbows. So does
Hmm.
Vaughn, sorry, has bows, but
Hmm.
a lot of Alexa's list does have throwing,
Hmm.
or rather
Also
throwing weapons.
throw. Yes.
So most certainly very dangerous
Hmm.
in that charge window.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, it's taking a climb test.
Both crossbows climbing down.
All right. So yielding that advantage for more mobility in the following turns. All right, he's forming up a nice battle line across the two different terrain pieces.
Like how it's always right? Just yeah, so sick. Like every time I look at those statues, I think of like bombers.
It would be pretty nice if we can get that like on a soundboard or something.
Oh my god! You know, if Forge released bomber one model, I'd get one. Like I'd get multiple. No, I'd probably just get one.
Yeah.
I'd love to use more fat dwarves.
All right, some clarifications in terms of range checking for the shooting phase. All right, shooting
One
lines
had
going
no,
into shooting lines.
one crossbow shot,
Hmm.
lands a hit.
Right, force to it.
Was to wound, ooh, get a 3.
Hmm.
Turn 2, that was a quick turn 1. Probably fast one I've seen.
Yes.
Gone to Alexa, it's priority now is first.
Hmm.
Uh, don't forget to move the token, boys. Yeah, look at that. Oh,
Hmm.
teamwork. Yeah, that's right. I'll just keep saying, fellas, done.
I mean, we can.
So, Eric, tell me about your Master's Army. What happened?
Well, look, if if we didn't take up the call to arms to run the tournament, there would be a lot less players here today. So I had to put my masters list on hold.
That's not what I meant. Alright, look at this man's stream. This guy's just like, yeah, look what I did. I just meant that your army's cool and, tell
Mm.
us about it.
Oh, well, the reality is the masters army doesn't actually exist.
Yes.
So it'll manifest itself one of these days, and hopefully I'll take it to one of these events.
Trade secret.
Yeah.
It is a trade secret, is it?
Oh, look, I'm still tweaking it, I think, but it does involve things like Khand and Eastling, and chariots. So,
And Eastling's chariots and pretty. To me, having seen this
mm,
list, um, it almost comes across as the one way to make Eastlings like kind of scary.
yeah, well, I'm basically taking everything that is good and everything is bad. I've just cut it from the list.
Yeah, so there's
Literally,
no cataphracts, right?
no
Oh no.
cataphracts. Oh dear. But lovely models, but they're just really difficult to work around. But I am getting the card component, well, the cavalry component from the card component
Yeah,
of the
I
list.
think the one thing that I really like out of your uh uh well, what would have been your master's list. So for collection, so you guys know what his list actually has. It has a Khandish King on Chariot with Amdur and Thamul on
Hmm.
Goldbeast, but the Khandish King is your leader, which I think is
Yes,
really a good way to go because you get to drive around with your Goldbeast and also with Amdur and just be like, this is a risky play, but I don't give up any VP if it doesn't work.
that's correct. So, having Amdur and Carmel both being able to freely dictate the pace of the game by just going for hero kills is really good, I suppose. And Carnage King is, fairly tanky against shooting. He's got the 5 up in the way. Um, so yeah, I think it's a cheeky sort of little list construction there. All three are heroes of valor, and my two combat heroes, one has blood and glory and challenge, and the other one has challenge as well. So
And he
uh,
gets his will back for kills.
yes,
Oh, so
that's right.
that's big.
So and I've got magic in there, so it's a pretty, I would say, nasty list. It's very fragile and requires big plays. So if the compels don't go off and suddenly dealing with half the resources that I would normally have, on Carmel, for example. He does have a smaller will pool. But you know what? It's a really fun list to play. When it goes off, it goes off. When it doesn't, it really becomes a really uphill battle with sort of low numbers and fairly fragile cavalry.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a vicious win or a slow draw from
Hmm.
I've seen you play with it.
That's right.
Particularly with the Khandish Horseman.
Hmm.
Stands for
Yeah. So two-handing, piercing when it matters.
just going large.
Yeah, makes for a really fun game. Uh, or yeah, so models removed, usually mine, but you know, we'll do our best. All right, looks like we're going to turn to of Vaughn's movement. He's just checking the ranges there, making sure he's staying outside of throwing weapon range.
Alexa playing very conservatively, backing up
Hmm
a lot.
Yeah, I think both sides know that when combat hits, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath, and it is Lords of Battle. So those wounds do every wound counts towards that victory condition. Now, it's interesting to point out that Vaughn has selected Protection of Valor, which is very handy for a list that has so many heroes. It pretty much guarantees that if he's playing, a close game, he is going to have those three heroes at the end of the game to guarantee a three hero 3 point win in that category. While Ambush, knowing that this is a very kill heavy game, is also going to be an almost guaranteed on both sides.
What has heroes
Mm.
a lot. Definitely makes it very easy to score Protection of the Valor. That was one I took as most certainly able kind of babysit them almost. Like, there's so many heroes, so it doesn't matter which five, as long as you get three alive, you get your 3p. Yeah, Vaughn does have six of them. So, and most of them fight advantage on theirs, which will survive if they're not fighting out the heroes.
Mm. All right, we've got some questions in chat. Death1942 asks, "Is Masters a knockout?" So, from what I understand, the it is not a knockout. It's just we're using the sort of elimination sort of bracket style to kind of uh, give a pathway for the winners to actually end up facing each other. I think the losers do end up playing in their own little bracket as well. So, no, it's not a knockout tournament. Morningstar ZP asks, how did that Isengard Dragonless vs Thranduil Halls game go? Um, looks like a
Oh no.
dragon fire.
Dragon with Brainstorms, just like it. So, for those who don't know what that's referencing, one of the games in round one was, what, 9 Thranduil's heroes? So, like
Hmm
Thranduil, Legolas, Oriel, 4
Mirkwood.
Mirkwood Ranger captains, and a Mirkwood Palace Guard captain, versus like Saruman, Six Crebain, a dragon with wings and fire breath, and
Yeah,
a
Grima and
sword.
a bunch of Dunlendings as well.
Yeah,
So you had this highly mobile Flappy Bird force flying around, breathing fire on
denying
some.
those Elven Cloaks.
Yes, that's right.
The score was, I believe, 12-3. No, 9
Hmm
to 3. Sorry, 9 to 3.
Yeah, 9-3
Uh,
going to Adrian there.
Total score is actually if sorry 13 to 7.
Hmm
7 after you calculate it.
Yeah, the sheer speed of having Crabine and Dragon on Destroy the Supplies is going to be the big factor there. So not only the damage potential, but he can just get to the other side of the board and trigger those end scenarios.
It is probably most certainly probably the toughest matchup that list could have had. If you think about it, it's like I ignore all your Elven Cloaks, which is something he would have relied on to keep himself alive. Normally, like a shoot style army, and Six Crebain, all the penalties that shoot them as well. Good luck, basically. That's a tough matchup. And also, because it was destroy the supplies, they probably just flap around and destroy the
That's great.
supplies, yeah.
Yeah, and the shooting factor as well. Only being able to be hit on a 6 from Elven shooting is a big nerf. All right, the movement phase is being resolved. Both players dancing around each other.
Like some sudden death music. That's Star Wars, but we can
Uh,
do that too.
unfortunately, we would just get claimed.
Yeah.
And,
Just in your
goodbye the
heads,
stream.
just imagine that Darth Maul, like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yep, yep. Duel of the Fates is now currently playing.
yeah. Please enjoy this on Spotify.
Yeah,
Just white noise.
yeah. Just imagine it, guys.
That girthy tape measure. My
Hmm
God, thick.
Thick.
Two C's or two
Yeah,
K's.
yeah. Thick as Urukai thigh.
Yeah, look, when I saw that matchup, I'm just like, yeah, dragon. Like, whatever that dragon goes into, I'm like, this is like, make no mistake, I don't want to be against that dragon, but when you see a dragon, like, what a great meme.
All right, looks like first kill of the game. Going
First
to a
blood to
crossbow.
the crossbows from Alexa. So in Australia, unlike some parts of Middle Earth gaming community around the world, we operate on true line of sight. And when we say true line of sight, we mean true line of sight. Like, what can your model actually see? Not, oh, I can kind of see. It's like if he stood up straight, it's like, no, no, no. If he's hunching over, you can't see it. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've been trying to shoot my dwarves over a ledge and I can't.
Well, that's kind of what you get for playing stunties.
You know what? I'm going to build that Iron Hills Ballista. Just shoot you from wherever.
Wherever,
Wherever you are,
with impunity.
I will find you and I will shoot you.
All right, well, we'll see about that.
And then I'll unhorse you.
Oh, okay. So there's a couple more shots coming in.
Checking in the statues.
Hmm.
2 shots. 5 skill. Get to fat 6.
Hmm. So lots of casualties coming in this round of combat. Shooting, sorry.
Look at this line of sight checking here. Look at this.
Yeah,
Just
I love it.
getting down there.
Yep, getting.
What could they physically see? Unreal.
Hmm. And that's one of the cool things about Lord of the Rings anyway, is as you mentioned, True Line of Sight. It really kind of immerses you in the battlefield with your models kind of knowing where each model is in relation to each other. Really gives it a sense of scale with the
Yeah,
battle.
most certainly. And I think as well it goes kind of both ways. You know, it adds to that cinematic feeling. I can't tell you the number of times I find it super satisfying to as a good army. So evil can shoot into combat, but good
Hmm.
can't.
Hmm.
But it's very satisfying to get these shots down like through the combat because it's like, oh, I can see a guy with a spear,
Hmm.
lurking down the back, and he's completely exposed, and you just feel like a almost like for me it's dwarf rangers. It's like, oh, MLG, like no 60s, no 360 no scope, just shooting through like 3 lines of infantry and just like nailing this orc, and I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, so sick.
yeah, and I think that's the cool thing about having a sort of again a low dice count game like Lord of the Rings is when you do land that 6, it feels really good. Where compared to maybe some of
So
the other,
sick.
yeah, compared to some of the other games that have used a lot of dice, for example, 40k, sometimes, rolling lots of sixes is not necessarily as the same feeling as rolling 1 6 in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, most certainly. I think when you roll lots of dice, the stakes aren't as high.
Hmm.
Particularly in Lord of the Rings, even like the big heroes, they're only really rolling 3 to 4 dice.
Hmm.
There's always a opportunity for something to go wrong. There's definitely space for you to fluff your roll.
Hmm.
And sometimes you put yourself in like an unrecoverable situation, and that's kind of part of the, I guess, the adrenaline high of a dice game, right? But you think about uh, 40k, I think what you managed to get your Terminator chaplain on bike. Oh, sorry, not Terminator, just your chaplain on bike. They have like 17 attacks.
It was more like 12.
That's still double
Yeah,
digits
it
is
was
dumb.
it was ridiculous.
I mean, at that point, nothing really goes wrong. You're just like,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna kill heaps.
yeah. All right. He's got this big flank going in. And he's kind of hurting uh, Alexa into this, third of the map.
Only boxing Alexa in very hard here.
Hmm.
Zulu strategy playing off. You can hear the drums.
Hmm. He's on the hunt, finding the halfling, but instead of halfling, pirates.
Bunch of sweaty guys.
Sweaty guys on a boat. Yeah,
I
we
mean,
are very
Peter
much in a
Jackson
sweaty.
himself. Peter Jackson himself
Was a sweaty guy on a
was a
boat.
sweaty guy on a boat, and
Yeah.
like nothing against Peter Jackson, but he is one hairy dude.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the stream here, guys. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves in chat as well. We've got lots of fans with here of the game here in the chat. So he's managed to get this really nice envelopment happening. And really interesting to see the next two turns how it's going to play out.
Really pushing that model advantage. I don't think the model advantage is very high in Vaughn's favour. I think a couple models, but
Yeah.
just it's very
This.
rare to see a scale of
Hmm.
these two armies. Normally Lord of the Rings armies are not pushing that. Close to 50 models. They're normally
Hmm.
somewhere in the maybe middle 30s.
Hmm. Yeah, especially with all a strength 4, fight 4 army, you really don't see pushing in that 40 model count. But in fact, we have two armies that were like that. So we had, Isengard, Saruman list early on, and now we've got the Ugluks Scouts.
Yeah, let's not forget as well Coleman's army. Even though it was all mounted, was 31
Hmm.
models
Yep,
or a bit more.
yep. Also strength 4, lower fight though, but he does have the Terror Bubble.
And he also has throwing spears and everything,
Yeah.
which we all know is it's just free damage at that point.
Hmm.
You kind of like every time you charge, you get to throw something, and if you don't, you throw something anyway.
Hmm. Speaking of Coleman, from news from the Mark, it is Chris Tot versus Andrew Coleman currently going
Yeah, I
on
saw
the
that.
table. So another exciting game to kind of find the results on.
I almost feel well, I do actually. I kind of feel bad for everybody in this pool a little bit. It's not the easiest pool. The pool is almost entirely
Mm.
exceptional players,
Hmm.
uh, and a lot of them are actually favourites. Like
Hmm.
Coleman's a easy favourite.
Hmm.
Chatswood, Dan won Chatswood Heat. Chris Tot, we all know, is an excellent player, and
Hmm.
Andrew Miller plenty of tournaments, so he's a well experienced player as well, running a hard list. So very very rough pool to be in, I think,
Hmm.
for your starting because like it or not, the hard reality is a lot of people enjoy, particularly in the first pool, like a
Hmm.
softer pool. It's
Hmm.
kind of nice to kind of
Yeah, ease you
uh,
into the game,
yeah,
ease you
just
into
kind
the
of
day.
hope for that soft win.
Hmm.
But instead, every win that they're going to have is going to be very hard fought. It's almost like a top table pool.
Hmm.
That said, I don't think there are many pools that have players who are soft. To be
Hmm.
quite fair.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, this is
well,
finals.
it is the finals. Look,
Yeah,
every pool here is we've got exceptional players, and it's hard to find a pool that you like, kind of scratch your head on.
yeah. I think the biggest challenge is that in this particular pool, it was
Hmm.
just the favourites were all kind of in it, which is
Hmm.
it was entirely random.
Hmm.
But it's very rare to see the favourites in the same pool, and not
Hmm.
if even if it's one or two to
Hmm.
have three of the favourites in
Hmm.
there. Um, pretty yeah, pretty tough.
Yeah.
I
All
think.
right.
How do you think that game will go with Chris and?
Look, it's going to come down to how well those transfixes go off on the Mumak Wall Leader. Uh, I pretty much think that's the only chance that Coleman has into shutting down that list. Um, then he's gonna have to deal with 19 or 18, 19 cavalry with Saladin with the rest of his Warg Riders. His 7 riders being fight 4 is going to be a big deal, I think. And he has the superior shooting ability.
Yeah, I think Gulliver will probably be the main
Oh yeah.
challenge in that, just because he can unhorse all of Chris's stuff reasonably easily. He can fly, so he can catch things unaware. Um, like the Wargs have the throwing spears, which help on the charge.
Hmm.
I mean, the Moomak, if it gets into combat, it's just going to be like, oh, 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 and then
Yep.
just stomp its way across
Everyone's
like
dead. Yeah.
two-thirds of the army.
Knowing Coleman, he will very much have the Witch King as far as possible away from,
Yeah, just transfixing.
yeah, from the Mumak, because as you know, the Legendary Legion, if the Witch King or if the enemy leader is in combat with the Mumak war leader, he can start calling all sorts of heroics and that he can't normally call, or War Beast can't normally call.
That said, I do think Gulliver could very easily die against the Harad. All it takes is one botch roll,
Hmm.
and that's it.
Yeah. Morning Stars EP. Yeah. Yeah. The first round we did have Mumak War Leader versus the Black Riders, and yeah, Chris Stott managed to grab the win. He really did play really hard on the objectives. Um, so we'll probably have a post-game breakdown on that as well.
Yeah,
But
I
from
managed to catch up with Chris in between the rounds. I did catch a bit of a like a bat rep light, so to
hmm
speak. So the mission was destroy the supplies, um, and basically Chris managed to dive 3 riders down deep,
hmm
while the black riders were trying to deal with the Moomac and shut the Moomac down. So they dived really deep, burnt all 3 objectives, pretty much uncontested, and that was pretty much it at that point.
hmm Yeah, I think Miller made a really big play, charging in a lot of riders into the Mumak to try and get a kill. But I think triggering the free heroics from the Mumak war leader was really the downfall in that situation. And one botch combat from the riders spelled basically the loss for Coleman. Sorry, for Miller, Andrew Miller.
Yeah, we'll certainly grab Chris at some point. So we have already spoken to Andrew about doing a post Masters breakdown,
hmm
where we will grab him and some of the other players and just have a chat.
hmm
We did do this for the Chats with Heat. We haven't had a chance to get the Chats with Heat one out just because we encountered some sound difficulties, so it's just going to take more time than we had hoped to get it out. But we will be having uh, Andrew on stream as well as Chris.
hmm Yeah, yeah. So look out for that, guys. All right, we've got a nice round of shooting coming in. Looks like Vaughn's firing isn't too effective at the moment.
I do believe the Black Riders game was recorded.
hmm
Um, it's we're actually recording 2 tables here at Masters, but we only are able to stream one.
hmm
But the videos from the other table will be available,
Yeah,
and we might
in
maybe
it.
able to slice in some inserts and show what happened
Yeah,
as
yeah,
a bat,
definitely. We'll
bat
we'll
reporter
try and
talk
get
through
some
it.
commentary on that as well.
Whoa, big wobbly dice roll. I love it when you see a dice roll like that. You're just like,
Yeah,
is it gonna be a 5?
yeah. That's why I'm a big advocate of the rounded dice rather than the square edge dice.
You know those crazy Lumineth dice? I love those
Nah,
dice.
you betrayed the dwarven code by bringing
Hey,
that
you
up.
know, I have a lot of dice in my bag, right? Yeah, I have dice for whenever I'm just like, the dice
Unbelievable.
aren't working, let me pull something new out, right?
hmm
Yeah, those Sigils of Defiance
Coming in handy.
coming in very handy. It's easy to forget that the Mumak in the Legendary Legion of Grand Army of the South does come with it.
Yep.
Uh, Free will, you know, it definitely helps. I mean, uh, Legendary Legion has a ridiculous amount of will.
hmm
So I guess every little bit helps, right?
Yeah, and it's for every cast, not just one per turn. So it's very the value that you're going to get for that is exceptional.
What's the cast value in Black Dart for the Black
I
Riders?
believe it's 5+.
Yeah, it's not an easy spell to get off then.
Nope.
You know, good chance of failing it even with 2 dice. You
hmm
probably would want to put 3 in, and even then it's not the most guaranteed thing.
Correct.
Alrighty, roll here. Goes to Alexa with the Corsairs.
hmm All right, so battle lines are slowly edging towards each other.
Yeah, you can certainly see uh, Vaughn is setting up the dive here for the
Yeah.
scattering of his clumps.
Yeah.
They're just outside that 8-inch range,
Mhm.
but only just. You know,
Mhm.
it's only going to take one bad turn. So Vaughn's called a march here.
Ooh.
Southern group.
Ooh.
So
Very cool.
southern left group. Off of the building there.
So we've got a march being called from the Orc Captain, probably to catch up with that big blob there that is about to make a play, I think, in the next turn or so.
Yeah, most certainly. The army definitely, well, rather, Lord of the Rings is a game that does reward aggressive play.
hmm
Um, and you know, I would probably say Alexa has the shooting advantage,
Yep.
just with both strength and range,
Oh,
and
yeah.
also number of shots. So
And the throwing weapons.
yeah, so Alexa definitely needs to get as close as is safe, which is
Hmm.
kind of hard given that they can charge 8. So
Yeah,
he'll
that's
maybe
right.
get a turn. He has to kite for another turn and try and bait Vaughn into that 6-inch bubble. But Vaughn can slowly just push back and bully him into position. Doesn't have priority. And if he does and he's 6 inches away, he can just kind of go like, oh, I've got priority now. I'm going to go into combat. Um, I mean, of course, Alexa could just back away and throw into his own combat.
That's
That's a
true.
reasonable way to go.
Yeah.
We've seen that done a few times at high tables.
Hmm.
Like, I think Kylie did it pretty infamously at Articon last year.
Yep.
Corsairs, and she axes and
Yeah.
like put a guy and be like, I'm gonna just throw axes. Like,
Yep. And yeah, look, that's you kind of use the charging Corsair to lock them down in place and shoot them up. What's also really important is I think we saw it in a little bit in the previous game is shooting into your combats to shut down any potential heroic combats. And I think the Vaughn's list, especially, and a little bit on the Corsair list as well, they do rely on those sort of lower tier or mid tier heroes to call those heroic combats to do lots of damage. They don't really have those, three superheroes or monsters in their list to do mass damage. So able to shut them down with throwing weapons, being that close, is really important for Alexa here.
play
All
by
right,
Alexa, go
Alexa is responding in kind,
very
and
pushing
he's
for that break in the line there.
yeah he's shifted his line and gone for like a inverted concave
Yeah,
convex
I'm not
even.
sure. Um, not sure about the wisdom.
Hmm.
Courage tests for the Reavers. They don't go mad,
Hmm.
but yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what Vaughn will do now in response to this line shift.
Yeah, oh, one of the Reavers goes ham into his chum.
Yep,
Will he turn his chum into chum?
who
I did
knows?
there.
All right, he's gonna stab him with a 3+ to strength 3.
Anyone like fishing? Like a chum bucket? I'm
Look,
just gonna keep fishing for.
no,
There's another pun. Look at me
yeah,
go.
no, I already saw that coming, and no,
It's not having a bar of it.
no,
You could say you didn't take the bait.
no. Oh, goodness me.
I'm just gonna
It's
keep going.
SPC.
Yeah. Oh goodness me, it is indeed fruit company. Oh dear. Our viewer count went down by 3 because puns are too bad.
Yep. Alrighty. Let's see how he's gonna continue to fall back on that southern side of the board. It's gonna be really dangerous here from Vaughn here because by trying to envelop uh, Alexa, he's kind of left himself kind of open in that middle section. So he has this gap in the middle that I think Alexa may make a play for with this change in his line. Conversely, it could happen with Vaughn completely collapsing on, the top end and the bottom end. So we'll have to see what Vaughn does with his heroic march that he's called with the All Captain on the south side of the board.
We're just pointing at Vaughn and saying nothing. I don't understand what's happening. It's like they're like Eric and Vaughn are just staring at each other, just
We're
like
just
jabbing fingers.
we're trying to connect through subliminal messages with the pointing, but it didn't work. Okay. Vaughn checking the line of sight and the positioning of his guys. All right, he's going wide.
Sting.
Just a reminder for those at home, I believe it's 12 minutes out to the purchases being able to be, or going live actually, to purchase the Lord of the Rings quote unquote made to order, but now limited run. So hope you guys got your browsers out and ready to order.
Definitely a very different game to turn one. Game one. Game one was very much a game of very aggressive plays by Coleman and got quite kind of very gritty very quickly. This
Hmm.
one's been a bit more.
Standoffish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it. I think both armies need to do that though. Being given that both armies are so lethal in combat, is what if they don't leverage their numbers correctly in certain parts of the line, is going to be a very quick game.
Yeah, Vaughn farming the ways there.
Hmm. In the first game, we had a lot of magic shenanigans back and forth as well, so we had a bit of action before lines meet. All right, some careful measuring here. All right, the march has gone off as well, so he's going to reinforce that bottom attack, bottom attack force. So he's left his center open. All right, he's staying 6 away, and he is within striking distance for that following turn. Let's get let's get Adam on the stream.
Okay.
Yeah, Adam, let's get you on the stream. Just have a brief chat. Yes, come and join us. All right, all right. Let's give a shout out to Adam, Master TO. He's on the stream now. How are you doing, Adam?
Not too bad. How are
Mm.
you guys going?
Yeah, good, good. We're just going into the turn 2 and 3 of this game between Vaughn and Alexa. How are the other games going now that you're kind of floating around and seeing how?
Most of the other games seem to be going quite well. They're still in their early stages, but got a few interesting matchups at
Mm,
least.
I'm very interested to see the Coleman versus Chris Todd.
That one looked very close at the moment. They both
Yep.
seem to be engaged at the moment.
Oh, all right.
So down to I guess with the Gullivar or the Mumak
Yes.
Giants.
Yeah. Both are very aggressive players, and I think we spoke earlier on the stream, um, whether the Magic will play a big part or Sigil's Defiance rejecting that in taking the Mumak out of the picture. Yeah. So just a little catch up. This game here, Vaughn's actually gone for this double enfilade action going with guys on the bottom and guys on the top and trying to catch Alexa on both sides. So it's going to be interesting. Oh.
Interesting to see, particularly towards a battle.
Mhm.
That lovely so right there in the middle
Mhm. Yeah.
comes down to where the heroes I guess are, and going to be getting in there really.
Yeah, I just mentioned on the stream that the made to order is about to go live in
Yes.
about 10 minutes, so I think everyone's a little bit panicky to,
But we haven't all got our phones set 5 minutes to. We'll probably have
yeah,
a little break
yeah,
just while we all scramble to try and actually get some models.
yeah,
But hopefully Games Workshop at least decides to
yeah,
the second wave at a later date,
yeah, yeah,
sooner dates.
because I think this is the first release since of models since lockdown.
Yes,
Yeah, and they're
was
releasing models that were
yeah,
released
was
20,
meant to be
10 years
made of
ago.
order, but yeah,
Yeah.
um, gonna have to just keep having a look and seeing
Mhm.
what's available, and hopefully we've got enough stock here in Australia for, well, a lot of people.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, and I think what are some other matchups that you think are pretty interesting at the moment?
So, oh, I'm just trying to remember 'em. So it looks like we've got Adrian and Josh, so the Dragon and Isengard
Mhm.
versus the Gundabad Orcs.
Mhm.
Um, that's looking very close at the moment. Last I looked, they were about 5 apiece.
Mhm.
We have Liam and the Scots Black Riders. Unfortunately, looks like Scott's just going to be running around for quite some time.
Yeah. Uh,
Possibly not committing, but hopefully he does for the sake
yeah.
of actually having a game
Mhm.
there.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be it's going to come down to how can Scott really place his models just outside that whip range.
Well, that's
Because as
it.
soon as he makes that mistake or he gets boxed in by all those, well, he's got a bunch of Moray Goblin captains, so he can march at him. And if he gets boxed in, it's I think it's game over.
That's it.
Yeah.
We've got Andrew Miller using Ring Race as well versus, I believe it's Dan,
Yep.
the Isengard.
Yep.
Going over there, looking at it, looks like the Black Riders have successfully taken down Ugluk and Vashku
Oh.
already with a few black darts and probably cheeky transfixes.
Mhm.
Saruman's hiding at the back behind a building, but the
Mm.
rest of the Ugluk line is holding strong, and
Mhm.
I think they're just looking at charge where possible.
Yeah. Well, he's got to really leverage that his crossbows as well. So, I mean, if Andrew Miller takes them out, it's going to be really difficult for Dan.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. I think we're all really stressed out about the made to order. Luckily, personally, I don't think I'm going to be getting anything on my end. Oh, pre-orders are out now live.
And we just add everything to cart, right?
Yep.
Tempting.
Yeah. So apparently, if you keep your order small, it's more likely to go through.
Oh,
Take that.
that's terrible.
All right. We got news that some things are actually limited to one per person. Is the pricing on those elves still $40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were that last made of order as
Yeah, that's
well.
right. All right, brief
Well,
pause
it's
in the
good
game
they've put
here to try and
the limit of one, which is nice, but it is annoying for some of the
yes,
items. But that lovely ent.
yes. Vaughn is madly Vaughn's madly trying to add that gambling to cart. For when I shatter your banner, is that right?
Sorry, guys. Probably is.
Oh, really?
Alright, looks like I've been successful on a few orders.
Right. Yeah, so apparently New Zealand has gotten yeah. Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, thank you everyone. Thank you Adam for hanging out with us for a bit.
That's
He
all
has
right.
other things to do.
I'll go tell
Uh,
the other room pre-orders are up, and hopefully
yes,
they can get something.
yeah. All right. Hopefully
All right.
we'll catch you later in the stream.
Yep.
Which, all right, just bear with us while everyone's really stressed out. All right, we've got some shooting coming in. I think he's managed to score a wound on one of the heroes. Rolls a 2 for the wound. I mean, the battering ram's pretty cool for scenarios. Ooh, some nice shooting there from Vaughn. It's good turn of shooting from Vaughn. He managed to knock a wound off some of the heroes, and he killed a couple of Corsairs. All right, we've got Scott back on the line.
Hello, I ordered a Gimli and
Very
sent
good.
it to the wrong address.
Yeah.
Good work, Scotty.
All right. Looks like Corsairs managed to stay alive. Right, a roll being rolled. Here goes to Ugluks Scouts.
No.
Well, hopefully everything solves out and GW will realize
More stuff, more stuff,
we need
more
more
stuff.
stuff.
What do I want to see? I'd love to see.
Hmm.
Here's some like old Dane getting his own legendary legion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, can't wait for the next book and hopefully that's revealed tonight. Maybe some new models.
Yeah, do you want to stay up and do a stream for
Yeah,
it?
look, we
Oh,
can.
I have an early morning actually tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how we do it. But either way, it'll be exciting to see the reveals. All right.
So who ordered what? Anyone
Yeah.
order anything?
Anyone in the chat order
Yeah, what did you
anything?
get? What swag did you score? Please let me know. I wanna share vicariously, rather live vicariously through your purchase. What did you buy? It almost seems a little weird to be like, what did you buy? But like, one of the things I always enjoy doing is going through people's orders and shaking the box and be like, what's in it? And they're like, can you put that down, sir? It's like, no. Bug Attack Theoden's pretty cool. No lie. Bug Rider's also pretty cool. Gambling Wag Attack, also cool. And yeah, all cool.
All right, looks like Paddy has gone for the Gimli and Legolas
Yeah,
combo.
yeah.
Very cool.
Wait,
The
what? Gimli and Legolas.
yeah, the mounted Legolas and the
Oh
Gimli
yeah.
on Uruk-hai.
Alright, I was like, there was another.
Oh, mounted Gimli as
There
well.
was another Gimli.
Very cool. I think the that Legolas on horse is the uh, a fan favorite on that one because it's him with the elven cloak in a shooting pose rather than the compared to the Hobbit one where he's got Orcris. So it's a very cool pose.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. Games Workshop, as far as I know, recently, probably like last year rather, uh, hired a guy out of the GBHL community to help drive. I think it was as a product manager for their specialist games, including
Hmm.
Lord of the Rings. And I remember seeing a post by this gent on the GBHL page, and it was like, oh, if there was, this is before he got hired by Games Workshop. It was like, oh, if I, if there were like X, Y, Z things that we should see Games Workshop bring back that would be really awesome, it would be these things. And it was like, done lendings and some of the made-to-order stuff that we've seen. Since then, we have seen most of what he had wishlisted come back. So, I mean, things on that wishlist like Numenor and Spearman,
Hmm.
for example. So yeah, it's definitely good that they've kind of worked out what people really want lots of, and at least giving people the chance to go and get them. You might think, oh, it's a bit expensive, but compare that to what the second-hand market was asking for some of these models. I think
It's
that's pretty
ridiculous.
reasonable.
Yeah. No, I think Paddy, you missed it. Gimli is mounted on the Uruk-hai. All right.
He's conducting Baran surgery.
Yes. All right. The noose is closing in on Alexa. Vaughn is still staying outside of that throwing weapon range, but still within that 8 inches.
Can't believe I sent my order to the wrong address. Ah, worse.
You're gonna have to wait for that.
Ah, yeah. I mean, I can send an email into customer service and be like, hey, I
Yeah,
sent this to the wrong address. Please
I'm
correct it.
sure. I'm sure.
Lars will otherwise, my friend, otherwise be like, how did I get a Gimli?
All right, looks like our stream is stabilizing a little bit, but we are still dropping frames. Hopefully that isn't too intrusive for everyone.
Finding it very interesting. The noose is most certainly tightening here on the
Hmm.
Corsairs.
Yeah, and it looks like Vaughn is just gonna ignore that little block of Corsair crossbowmen to the side there. He's still collecting some in the ways from that platform there.
I could certainly see Alexa trying to get his across
Yeah.
for that objective.
Hmm.
Probably have to give up a couple models before, just in case someone gets shot.
Hmm.
4 models probably pretty reasonable. Run them down the table into a quarter and then just lie them down out of line of sight.
Hmm.
Um,
But yeah, I think it's pretty clever play from Vaughn, I would say. He's boxed Alexa in, so to making sure that it's very difficult for him to score that, dominate the battlefield.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah. It does. Every time I look at it, I just think it reminds me of like buffalo horn.
Hmm.
That fantastic pincer maneuver.
Hmm.
How many of the mounted guards wargs did you get? The metal wargs, Paddy? Did you get any?
Yeah, I thought you were
Yeah, I would
Wag
have thought
King.
you got like 10 of them. You know, like
Yeah, just
give me maximum.
it's because the riders aren't removable. He's not actually into the Rog riders. He's into the
Rise into the
Wargs.
wargs.
Yeah. So the
Yeah,
metal
right.
ones don't actually make sense for Paddy here. He's the Warg master.
See how my mind made a couple of jumps here. So one, I'm like, oh, Paddy probably names all of his bugs. So he no doubt
Hmm.
does. But one of the Black Riders list here to separate he printed out little names for them,
Hmm.
and then he misspelt Witch King.
Ah, I think you made the joke that you wished that they were all misspelled.
Yeah,
In fact, I wish that too.
yeah.
It should have been little misspellings or just a complete reinterpretation of their names.
Kamal.
Kamal, Duima Baked.
Yeah. It's certainly getting hot here now in Australia.
Oh yes, in this room is really heating up. Games are heating up as well as the boys inside.
Yeah, dice rolling getting ferociously hot.
Hmm.
Lines have finally touched.
Hmm.
What is this? Bottom before.
Hmm.
Interesting. Bottom before, and I think what we're only half an hour in,
Hmm.
whereas last game was maybe 5 turns total.
Hmm.
Uh, game. Oh, I need to disrobe.
It is getting really hot, guys.
All right, back and now disrobed.
Hmm.
Go back to the timer. Right. Big shots from the crossbows going bang, bang, bang. 4 shots. 2 hits. 5's to wound. 1 wound. Flops at Urukai. See you later. 2 more. Great shot. No in the ways. No in the way again. Clean shot. But it misses. Yet again, crossbows in a building. How groundbreaking.
Hmm. Well, it's a very
You know,
obvious thing to do.
when we set this table up, so
Yeah.
we did the initial setup for the TO camera over to Passover, and I did turn all the buildings inwards so that they couldn't get it in the way, as in like a defensive
Hmm.
one. But I also forgot that can't actually see very far over the edge of those buildings because it was quite high. So
Yes.
the actual like line of incidents that they can shoot is maybe like 16 inches,
Yeah.
or it's out of line of sight.
So there is a dead zone where they won't actually be able to see um, won't be able to actually uh, see anyone. Sorry, I'm just
Eric's banana is covered in
yeah.
ants.
My banana that I have on the table here is completely covered in ants. So let me just deal with this quickly.
Eat it. It's a bit of protein. You guys should see the look. Hey, look, man. Ants are a viable source of protein here in Australia. I'll have you know that you can eat them and they're not bad for you. Yeah, that banana is looks like it's got hundreds and thousands on it, bro. Oh, apparently Gimli's already sold out. Wow. Hardcore. Can't believe half of that stuff's already gone. Wow. That means some people will not get orders filled. Uh, kind of already assumed that orders would be uh, like there wouldn't be heaps available anyway. But yikes. Yeah, Gimli sold out. What's the ant look like? And still available. Gimli's already sold out, Chug. Yeah, hardcore. How do elves still available?
All right, I'm back. Hopefully no ants have crawled into my computer.
On how the other matches are going. Great question. I know a couple of games have, rather, one game has finished. Not really sure if we are able to disclose the results on this.
I think it's pretty open information at this point.
Alright, well, so we've only had one game come in so far, and it was Andreas versus Jack. Andreas running the Mirkwood Rangers list. Remember what Jack was running?
Jack was running Return of the King.
Return of the King. Andreas lost 2 to 12.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a big loss on that on
Yeah.
from Andreas there.
Not sure how some of the other tables are going. I can go to a scout report once Eric has managed to nuke the last of the ants that have eaten his banana. And I'll go have a quick walk around and come back with some news.
Hmm. Yeah, let's get a roving reporter going on. All right. So while Scott's away, let's get back into the game. So the combat there is resolving now. We've got into the heroes component, so Meher. Ooh, a Sharon. All right, Hasharan has won the fight. So the Hasharan has bent the might to win the fight, and now trying to go for into the Urukai, actually. Yeah, definitely. Uh, he hasn't actually pushed for it yet, so we'll have to see if we can get a dwarf player on stream. I think we've just got the one. All right. What we'll do is I might fix the dice tray cam. I think it's tipped over a little bit. No, move the camera, Scott. No, 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 no. You've
All right.
all right. We're back.
What news from the mark?
Yes, tell us.
So, it's most certainly very there's a couple of games going on that are very interesting to watch. So, the Mumak is versing so Chris Tott with Mumak and Serpent Riders and Saladin and that. Beat Black Riders last game. He's up against Andrew Coleman with Angmar. It looks like Coleman's going to pull off a win. Most of the cavalry are dead. All of them. The Mumak is still alive, but it's getting picked apart pretty hard. So we've also got the Black Riders from Mumak game last round against Dan Isengard. Dan has not managed to make heaps of his charges. The Black Riders are pretty much in the middle of 30 odd Urukai. 7 of them are in combat, and I think 2 of them are not. As Dan failed his charge at -3, he's been whiffing his courage rolls pretty hard there. Probably pretty close. I think a couple of lucky dice rolls and Dan will win it. Just because pipelines in there, so he's got generally one model into each of the Black Riders, but it's very hard for him at -3. He needs to get in. Had a Balrog Moria list Black Riders, which is Liam versus Scott Norwood. Scott playing the Black Riders. It looks like he'll get it. The Balrog is still alive, being screened very well by Liam's Moria Goblin, so he's managing to keep the Black Riders
At bay.
Yeah, far enough away that he hasn't been able to quite get close enough and channel Black Dart. But without giving away too much, Adam reckons it'll go to Scott. Who else did I covered Chris' game, I covered Dan's game. Andreas lost to the Return of the King, which leaves 3 games up. So Goblin Town versus Iron Hills looks reasonably close. I think the Goblins are starting to push across the table in its entirety. But it's probably a little bit too early to... they're just starting to close inside the range of the bullets now. And other games are very close. So there's 2 games there that I saw that were kind of too close to call. We are only about an hour or so into the game, and as I think many people would know who play Lord of the Rings, this is kind of where the meat of the game is. First, probably 45 minutes of a game is generally positioning and trying to get an optimal angle for engaging,
Hmm.
and then from there we tend to go into the actual like meat and grinder of the game. I believe we have an hour and around an hour or so. Yeah,
Yeah,
hour
about
and
now.
3 minutes. I would love to stream the game, but we'll just have to see. We might be streaming the top couple of finals here.
Yeah, well, game four will definitely be top table, but we'll see what we can do
Right,
for.
Eric, you paint your kind and then fight my glory. Stream that.
Well, that's a possibility. But we'll just see whether you've got that ballista in the list or not.
Uh, we do 800 points. I will not.
Well, we're not doing 800.
Same.
750.
Go home.
It's 50 points. That's all it
Yeah, I just
takes.
want to take more goats.
No.
Then I could use all my goats.
Yeah.
Bring my dumb iron hills. Currently on my paint bench.
All right. So we've got some careful movement phase shenanigans happening. His bottom flank force has hit the lines. Maher initially trapped the Hasharan, but Hasharan had to burn a might point to win the fight on a drawn combat to kill some more Urkai. So if the Hasharan gets caught again, it's might be game over for the Hasharan, so we'll have to
Yeah,
see.
very interesting. Up on the top end of the table, Alexa contracted.
Hmm.
So he's probably about what 12 inches away there, I think.
Hmm.
Eyeballing off the table, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Not sure if I can make that move, but uh,
Yeah, he
they're
does have
within 2
March.
turns of being caught.
Yeah, he does
They're
have
2 turns
March
away
available.
from helping anything else out, so or 3 turns away from helping anything else out. So,
Yeah.
very possible that they get bunched up on their hard. I'm not sure about the secondaries here. Dominate the battlefield. That's a pretty tough one now. Lex is in a tough spot trying to sneak out here and grab it.
Mm.
Urukai are wounding the Corsairs on fours.
Yeah. Well, I think the dominate the battlefield secondary that might be the might be an issue for Alexa going forward. Uh, yep, Miss Kendall, you're right. Sharon doesn't care about being trapped. But regardless, if Vaughn's getting the number of Urukai that he is getting in there, one more lost combat from the Sharon is going to be very difficult for him to recover, even with that extra fate point.
Yeah, the issue.
I think it's 3 fate, I think.
Sharon can be very survivable, but you still got to remember it's only about a 2 wound model, right?
Yeah.
Not a particularly high defense.
2
either.
wound, three fate, I believe.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know from personal experience how much you can botch 3 fate rolls in a row. So
Yeah, currently he is on full stats, but he has lost the might point for trying to win the combat.
yeah, he'll definitely live at least one more combat
Hmm.
with full stats. 3 fate's a pretty good way to stay alive.
Yeah. I think last turn he had Maher and a 2 or 3 Urkai on him. So this following turn is probably going to be a similar situation. Yeah, it is 3 fate. Defense 4. So
Ooh.
4's minimum to win.
You know, I really want to do like the fat guy on on his Harlequin with some Sharon. I think it'd be a cool army.
I don't actually think he's that chubby.
Well, yeah, no, sorry, Golden King isn't that chubby, but the guys that he is
Yeah,
with are pretty
pretty
fat.
chubby. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like stopping him for one turn on that bottom flank is going to be huge.
Interesting. So Vaughn's just sitting outside 6 here,
Hmm.
making sure that he's both intentionally and purposefully outside 6. So declaring his intention of that all these models are to be outside 6 inches.
Hmm.
And just checking that with his opponent and clarifying it so Alexa knows as well. It will be a big turn next turn, I think.
Yeah, I think there's not much else, no room for Alexa to move unless he really bunches up. But if he does bunch up, He's not able to bring his numbers to bear or when the lines do meet.
Yeah, I mean, Alexa does have spears, so he
Yeah.
can still try and match
Mhm.
fights here.
Mhm.
I think it'll be very interesting to see how Vaughn moves in the next turn, whether or not he slides down the table and kind of goes on a diagonal. Because it's unlikely that Alexa will let him move without calling a move of his own. So
Mhm.
it'll be a contested move. Um,
Yeah, but I think it's very situational because if Vaughn does win priority and he's within striking distance, it really much comes down to Alexa will have to respond with a move. But for Vaughn, he's okay with that because sure you might move away and I don't catch you, but you've wasted a might point. The other is the other alternative is I think Alexa could strike out and try and charge him, but there's just too many Urukai on that front for him to actually engage.
yeah, it's 20 odd
Yeah,
up the top there.
so
Uh, yeah, I mean Alexa makes a good point. He can move closer and still throw axes.
yes, he could.
Yeah.
All right, here come the bows.
It will be interesting to see how the tempo of the game. I think it is going to pick up pretty significantly here as things start to die. I think gets priorities and movement will start
Mm.
to be key. Yeah, I think we touched on that earlier actually as well. Because I agree
Yeah,
with you
definitely.
there, Miss Kindle. Like I think Vaughn is maybe two
Mm.
turns from catching Alexa. If
Yeah.
Alexa had kited, and Alexa was probably three from being in the position he wanted to be,
Mhm.
maybe two.
Yeah.
Um, I think he's managed to get himself boxed in.
Mhm.
Once again, with that wonderful Zulu strategy of buffalo horns. I'm just gonna keep saying buffalo horns. You can call it whatever you want,
Yeah.
scorpion pincers or just classic pincers, whatever. But
Mhm.
it is going to bring a lot of numbers to bear. And I mean, once those orcs get into combat with those Urukai, it probably good night sweet prince to the Urukai there at winning on threes. It's it, Kylie. Hi, Kylie. Eric's just snuck off for a moment. Had the game with Mr. Todd go earlier. We were commenting that Mr. Todd is in my book of grudges because I didn't just lose to him at last year's Masters, but I lost to him with his elves. I'm just going to assume that he hasn't woken up yet. Well, I think if you play a game and it's just luck that made you lose, you probably played a pretty good game, and that sometimes it do be like that, right? Starting to see some heroic combats being called here. Alexa's just called one. I think we in his that Southern Blob. I wasn't quite sure what he called it with. Uh, with the Black Marshal on horse with the lance, and Vaughn is looking if he wants to respond in kind with his own heroic combat.
All right, I'm back. Went on a little adventure,
Yeah,
taking out some ants.
Eric is made of sweet meat and is slowly being eaten by ants. I find it quite hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
It also kind of worries me because that was my coffee, like my long black, and I'm like, why ants on a long black coffee? Like,
Well, I think it's because they put chocolate in your coffee for some reason. Look, my long black is still sitting here, completely
Yeah,
untouched by ants.
why does my Hungry Jack's long black had coffee? You know what? I ain't complaining. It was pretty tasty.
All right, combats are being called. This is going to be really key for that southern flank.
But Urukai captain and an Orc captain in the same combat. They're calling it
Yeah,
heroic
we've got
combat.
some heroic combat bombs.
That's a big play.
Yeah.
Goes to Alexa being evil.
Yep.
Apparently, he is the more evil of the two.
Mhm.
Okay. Double 4 on the
Ooh.
Marshal. Alexa's got a 5. Spear and a Warhorn without a banner. Double
Ooh.
1s.
Ooh. The big 6.
Marshal, yeah. The black, so the Marshal there, gets the kill, wins the combat, and I'm not sure where he's going to zoom off to. Let's find out. I don't think he'll make it into combat with the two captains as they're slightly around the bend. Eric is trying to fix the dice camera and it's so broke. Oh, Eric. Down for you. Oh, and the video feed just died. Like the whole feed just died. Something got unplugged. Eric, you and trying to fix things. Yeah, we could. Yeah. Oh, here it is. I think the stream might need to be restarted here. Yes. Can you at least hear us, Kylie, or is it oh, where's his mouse gone? And your mouse gone. Eric, what have you done? Oh, it's crashed.